Hey, she's like, nope, nope. I'm gonna, all right, we're gonna get right
Ooh.
to it then. Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of A Name Tag is Necessary. I'm your host and MC, Name Tag Alexander. The website is nametagaleczander.com and also leadingmelegendary.net. Be sure to go there, check out the music by yours truly, of course. And also be sure to grab some merch. I got the Work, Win, Repeat hoodies available. We got the mugs for A Name Tag is Necessary also. But fuck all that. We about to get right into it. We got a very, very, very special guest that's on this show. It's pretty overdue because we've been talking about this for a minute. Actually, we gonna keep it real. We had an episode in the can. However, for some reason, no, I'm not shouting out Anchor on this one. Anchor distributes this podcast, of course, but in this case, I used Anchor as a backup to record, and audio on my end just wasn't great. Not our guest. Our guest was A.N.I.N. However, on my end, the audio just wasn't great. I think it might have been something I did as far as the headphones that I was using or something. I had some cheap headphones that I decided to use instead of my regular setup. But, trial and error, it is what it is. Anyway, this guest that I have on is a active and consistent journalist from out of Flint, Michigan. You can go right now and check out their post discussion from Breed and Bootleg Flint Rap Legends, which is right now available on YouTube. I didn't get a chance to see the entire thing. However, I did catch about 10 to 15 minutes of it. I definitely want to see the documentary. This guest here has featured a lot of my music on our music blog, The Dope Show. And this had been going on since, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe back as far as 2011, 2012?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it further than that? I'm about right?
Honestly, wow, I want to say 2010. I don't know
Okay.
why I'm thinking 2010, but yeah.
2010 was the Name is Tag album. So you probably right.
Hmm.
Probably
Yeah.
right. Yeah, because that's when I noticed. Yeah, matter of fact, because 2010, around that time, that's when I ended up bumping in the Nameless online, and we ended up finding he was from Flint. So yeah, that makes sense. That sounds about right. Anyhow, this active and consistent journalist that I have on this show, you may see her on Twitter often. You may hear her voicing her opinions or telling her stories through her audio articles, which could also be found on YouTube. But you see her on social media as Tia the Writer, and that's who we have on this podcast. We have Tia Scott, aka Tia the Writer, on A Name Tag is Necessary. This is where I would drop the sound effect in where you hear the applause, but let them know what's going on with you. Uh-oh, you froze up a little bit. This happened before. Let me hold on. And that's why we have the chat.
Uh-oh. My connection is unstable. Jeez.
If you are you on your phone?
All right. Are we good?
So. Now it's better.
So.
Are you on your
Oh,
phone or
okay.
laptop?
I'm on my laptop.
Oh, okay. I was about to say you on your phone. You
Yeah.
can do Zoom with the phone, but don't worry. That's why it ain't live. I could always just edit that part, just
Right.
drop it in right there. But let the people know what's going on with you. Let them know what time it is. We finally got you on officially.
Yeah, man. It feels good, man. It feels good to be on the podcast, man. Like, I'm one of those people. I'm not really a podcast person,
This is where it
but I
starts though.
mess
This
with yours,
this is where the
man.
bug hits people. It's like, oh, okay, I might want to start one. Now, it's funny because like I told people what happened, of course, last episode I had to can it. But since then, there was a situation that came about where someone stole, just flat out just snatched your entire
Woo.
article that you had on Breed. And if I'm not mistaken, this was connected to Hip Hop DX. Am I right or am I wrong in that?
He actually, he's like, I guess, a contributor to Hip Hop
Okay.
DX, but
Okay.
he didn't post that on Hip Hop DX. Thankfully, because I really like Hip Hop DX.
Yeah, I'm
So,
like, wow, that's crazy.
but yeah, when I actually put up a remembrance piece for
Mm-hmm.
Breed on November 22nd. it was on Flint Side. I write for
Right.
a publication called Flint Side.
Okay.
And so, Breed's been gone for 12 years.
Yeah.
I ride for my Flint
Legend.
people. So I'm like, I'm gonna kill this article because like, I really respect Breed. I got a chance to be in the same facility as him when he was like, going kind of back and forth from Atlanta to Flint. So,
Hmm.
I felt that energy from him. Like he was a cool cat. I messed with Bootleg. I know Bootleg,
Yeah.
like I've met him. And so I'm like, okay, I really did my thing with this piece. And this guy just like, matter of fact, let me not even, enter the guy, but um, I was looking for a picture for the Breed and Bootleg documentary.
Hmm.
So I, was doing my Googles and I seen an article pop up with a picture that of Breed that I had to actually my flip side editor had to ask permission for to use on the
Okay.
website. I was like, wow, I wonder who has this picture. That's crazy. Click on the
Yeah.
link. It's my article word for word.
Whole
And I'm
thing.
like, my whole thing, like including
Yo.
quotes that I've interviewed people with, like those quotes are in there. I'm like, wow, like,
He ain't
but it
credited
didn't
a
say
source or nothing. He just flat out like this all me.
is
Wow.
by him. It was just like, yeah, like,
That's
and so I was like,
insane.
wow. So I actually contacted the website,
Uh.
like, hey, this is my article. I really wish you would just, kind of take it down because, it's plagiarized. I emailed them.
Yeah.
The email bounced back. I'm like, okay. I found their Facebook. I hit them on Facebook. The owner of the website was like, oh wow, like I'm gonna contact the author and we're gonna get this
Yeah.
straighten up. It's like cool. So they hit me back. They said we're taking it down
Mm.
on our end. Um, but if you write something different from yours, we're gonna post it again. I'm like, no problem.
Right.
So they took it down. Everything was all good. I did another Google search. Two more articles, my articles popped
Same
up on
one.
two different sources. Yeah.
Wow.
This time it was kind of shortened up.
Uh.
It didn't include like the quotes that I had. So I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, he knows what he's doing. He's stealing.
Highly aware. Yeah. If I take
Right.
this out, they ain't gonna think. Man, that's crazy.
Right. So I contacted him like, hey man, could you remove that? And he said, um, what did he say? He said, look, I was just trying to get your article free promotion. And I'm like, how? Like
But
you
without your
didn't
name on
include
it.
my name.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, no, I really would appreciate it if you would take it down. And he sent a bunch of like laughing emojis in my DMs
What?
and stuff like I'm not taking it down. I'm like, wow, you should
Man.
be grateful that I even posted it so more people can see your work. And I'm like, bro, you got like 17 likes on your picture. Like that's not really helping me. But anyway,
Dude, like the internet's full
um,
of weirdos, man. Like,
right.
like, duh.
And so I told myself, you know what? If he doesn't take it down by tomorrow, I'm going on Twitter and I'm just
Letting
um,
loose.
let loose. I'm gonna let the chopper sing. And that's what happened. I didn't bash him. I didn't call him any names. I didn't even put his name out there. I just like put the link to the article
Yeah.
that where it was posted, which just so happens to be his personal website. And Twitter Twitter fam started riding for me. They started
Mm.
riding for me.
I saw a few of the retweets like this. My man's like here. Yeah, he works with such. Oh, that's crazy, man.
Yeah. So, I'm
Dirty.
pretty sure that kind of messed up his ties with Hip Hop DX.
Mm-hmm. And anywhere
Yeah,
else that he probably had chances of being able to write for. That's crazy.
yeah. And I ran a plagiarism check on a couple other articles he had on his site, and they were also plagiarized but from other sources. So, it's a sad part of the game.
Yeah.
But it makes me want to just copyright, just get my
Mm-hmm.
copyright in order so this
Yeah.
doesn't happen again.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Wow. So, speaking of which, like I say, it's you got the post discussion that's posted online right now. You can find it on YouTube for those of y'all listening. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, you can obviously immediately after this go check it out. Or if you want to pause this and go check it out, that's fine as well. But the post discussion on the Breed and the bootleg, the Flint Rap Legends. Now, is this documentary? Like I said, I didn't get a chance to watch the entire post discussion, but is this documentary already out, or is it
Yes.
okay?
It's actually showing on Detroit's Freak Film Festival's website.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's actually I believe they sell passes for the festival to where you can view every movie.
Yeah.
Or you can just purchase like an $8 ticket to watch the Breed
Okay.
and Bootleg documentary.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I might have to check
Yeah.
that out, man. Because I saw the trailer for it, and I was like, wow, okay. Obviously, being from Detroit and hearing Breed music at the time, it's connected. By the time I remember the singles, the Ain't No Future in Your Front. And,
Mm-hmm.
funny thing is, when I first got introduced to his music, I'm a kid, was the Get Yours joint with him and Pac. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, wow. And then I heard Ain't No Future in Your Front after. You know what I'm saying?
Ah,
So then
yeah.
fast forward years later, I'm just going based off what radio is pushing in front of me. So years later, it's like, oh snap, he connected with Slum. You know what I'm saying? He had to join with
Mm-hmm.
them, and then it was so it was like the Let's Go to the Club. Like, oh my goodness. So
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So that connect, I was like, man, I'm gonna have to check this out. But other than that, Breed a legend, man. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's real dope. How did that come about with you being able to you get the post discussion?
Um, yeah, it was just all through connections.
Mhm.
After I wrote the piece about MC Breed, um, well, actually, I interviewed the director of the
Okay.
documentary, and I got a quote for the MC Breed article that I wrote.
Right.
And so from there, she asked me, well, actually, how did that come about? Detroit Free Press, the film festival, they reached out to me and said, hey, like, we really liked the article that you did on MC Breed. Would you like to moderate a discussion?
Word.
After the article, not the article, after the documentary airs. I'm like, yes, like definitely. So that opportunity came from me writing the MC Breed piece.
Hmm. Dope.
So
Super dope.
yeah.
Super dope. Well, we got you
Mhm.
here. I sent you some questions. Just the pretty much the
Yeah.
structure of the podcast. Revised yours a little bit.
Yeah.
Try to make it a little bit different since we had our situation with the last episode. So I'm like, okay, let me just try to switch it up just a tad bit. So we're gonna start
Tad
out with this one. The I guess I would call this one the bronze question for the most part, because it's not the one that's really as tough as the others to me per se. But
bit.
if you had the opportunity to run a fantasy record label, you got $1 million in the budget, well, not a million, but millions of dollars in the budget. What 5 artists do you have on your roster, and what 3 producers do you have on the roster?
5 artists. Let's
I feel like I
see.
remember some of what you had said the first time around. God, I hate that
Yeah.
episodes, man. Dang it, man.
That was such a flawless episode. I really like that. But my 5 artists would be Kendrick Lamar,
Okay.
Kendrick Lamar, Denzel Curry, Anderson Pack,
Okay.
her, the artist
Okay.
her,
That's
and
4.
Jay Electronica.
All right. Okay. I think
Yes.
that might have been. Yeah, I feel like that was the same from before. Okay, so you remembered that. All right. Dope.
Yes.
Dope. Now, what about the 3 producers though?
Oh, the 3 producers. I know I said Missy because I
Okay.
love Missy's production sound. Um, oh, Yay,
Okay.
Kanye. Kanye's production,
Which year,
and
yay? We got, or just
ooh, you know what? Like, side note, I've been on a Yeezus kick. I know that sounds really crazy to say, but like,
Yeezus
I've
low
been
key was slept
listening
on.
to Yeezus.
That was what
Like,
2013, so that might have been like ahead of his. To me, I look at the Yeezus album like how I look at Common's Electric Circus in a way.
mm,
Electric Circus came out and there was some joints on there. And people looked
yeah,
at it like, this ain't it, because it wasn't like water for chocolate. Because if I'm not
exactly.
mistaken, that came out, that was the album that was after Like Water for Chocolate. So that
Hmm.
album did what it did. It was so held in high regard that when he did Electric Circus and people saw that he was going left, it's like, oh man, what is he doing? And then he had to bounce back and come
Yeah,
with B. But Electric Circus had some joints in there. And in a way, if you go back and listen to Yeezus, there's some joints in there. It was kind of like, I see what you was doing, Ye. I see what you was doing.
yeah,
Yeah. And I think what it was, people just wanted him to continue to deliver because that was the one that was after My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. So people wanted him to
hmm,
still deliver that. And it's like, no, every album he giving y'all something different. So
something
let that
different.
live in its
And
own lane. And that, to me, that's what Yeezus was. Yep.
Definitely. I love when producers just experiment, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So I can't even pick an era to where I'm like, well, I want 2007 Yay. Like, no, I want whatever the hell is on
He's gonna
Ye's
give you
mind
something. He
right
still do.
now.
He still
Yeah.
can put. He still, you know, he can give you some solid production at the end of the day. Minus, we always look at the antics, but minus all that, like he still can give you some quality production at the end of the day. So you say Yeez, you said I was about to say Yeezus. You said Yay, Missy,
Yep.
and
Yay.
our third.
Missy. And I want to say, oh, I had to do another producer. I can't even think. I know that I would have Timbaland come and put the drums on all of this
Okay,
production from Missy and Kanye, and I would have Dr. Dre mix
that's
everything
just a
because
cheat
that's
code.
stellar,
Every
right?
episode, somebody throw a cheat code in there. Like,
Man, yo, funny story about Dre, man. I got to witness Dre mix a song in the studio,
what is that like?
and
Like, what
man,
the time frame of it? Like, what is? Because he a perfectionist with it, from what I understand. So,
he's
man,
definitely a perfectionist. But before he could even get to the perfectionism part, he just has an ear. And I know we
uh,
say that a lot about, certain
yeah,
producers, but like, nah, it's certain people that can just
he is
hear
different.
way more, you
Yeah.
know. But the artist that he was working with had a song. It was a single. It was featuring Anderson Paak, right?
Okay.
And very dope song. We had been bumping this song for probably like 6 weeks,
Uh-huh.
low key. And it was time for Dre to mix it. So we're all in the studio, and the first thing he say when he puts his headphones on and he looks for like 5 seconds, he was like, "Y'all didn't know this beat had a guitar in it?" And we were like,
Nobody
"Nah."
heard it.
Nobody heard a guitar. We were listening to this
Whoa.
in the house and in the car and in headphones and all this.
Yeah.
He was just like, "Y'all don't hear that guitar in the back." We all like, "No." He looked at the artist. He's like,
Uh-huh.
"No, bro." Like, no,
I didn't even know
it's
a
his
guitar was
song.
in this beat.
Right. And so he hit one button on this big switchboard,
Uh-huh.
with all the buttons. He hit one button and we heard that guitar.
It
And I was like,
eliminated
God,
so to where he dropped out all the other tracks and it just was that one specific track with the guitar. That's
yep.
crazy.
And then he
Wow.
brought it up and it just changed the whole song. And I'm like, get out of here.
Wow.
Like, how did
See,
he
hearing
hear
that
that?
firsthand, like I always see it on TV and I hear people talk about stuff like that, but hearing so that's crazy. Like, wow. It made me want to listen to
It's
beats.
insane.
Made me want to listen to beats just looking like this now. Like just make sure I hear everything. Y'all don't hear that?
Right.
Hey, that's a different level of genius
Right.
with that type of ear. That's crazy.
Man.
So okay,
So
you might
yeah.
as well just say Dre is 3 if that's the case.
Yeah,
Like,
Dre, let's get
yeah.
it.
Um. Okay, so this is the one that I switched up on you a little bit. Normally, I'll say it could be from any genre, but what are your 3 classic go-to R&B albums? However, you have to have one from the 80s, one from the 90s, and one from, let's say, ranging anywhere from 2000 or whatever, 2015.
Wow. That's a wild question. Let's go. I love it.
Oh, let me switch this one
Okay.
up. Yep.
Okay, so from a R&B album from the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Um ooh, I want to say as far as like my personal favorite,
Mm-hmm.
Guy,
Okay.
like Guy's first album.
Yeah, I was about to
But you
say the
know what? That
first one was
wasn't
the
the
80s,
80s.
right? I don't know. I think it
Oh,
was. It was. The second one was like night. Let me pull up Apple Music because the first one, um, right here live on the podcast. The first one was 1980 because that first one they was able to tour with New Edition. And I'm
right.
listening to this podcast right now that Taraji P. Henson is hosting, and she's talking about that, and it was like I apparently there was a beef between it became a beef between their crew and New Edition's entourage, I guess, while they were touring on with them in the 80s. But I think you're right, Guy. Well, you said it might have been in the 90s, but nah, I think Guy's first album was in the 80s. It was 88.
Oh, yep, 80.
Yep.
Yep, that's the one. The album cover, three of them standing there.
Yeah, it was like the
Yeah, it
colorful
had.
guy written the cover, and then the second one was the future that dropped in 1990. So, yep.
Mhm.
Now, the first
And
album
just
had Groove Me, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, first one was a classic. Oh yeah, yeah,
Teddy
definite classic.
Jam,
Teddy's
Piece of
Jam,
My
Groove Me,
Love.
Piece of My Love,
Ooh,
I Like. Yeah,
man, come
Spend
on.
the Night.
Goodbye, Love.
Yeah, yeah, yep. Okay, so that's a solid one. So that's one from the 80s. What about from the 90s?
D'Angelo's Brown Sugar album.
Okay,
Flawless.
okay,
Yes.
all right.
Um,
That 2000 era
and
is where it get a little tricky.
yeah,
Yeah,
you're right. 2000 R&B. Ooh, and I was listening to a lot of R&B.
yeah, yep.
Confession.
That's what I'm saying. It's so much. I should have. I guess I'll narrow it down from 2000 to 2010. That ain't fair to go up until 2015 because that's adding an
Usher's
extra
Confession.
5. So I'm thinking, I know one, but I'm wondering if you gonna say it because we saying a classic, right? So
Yeah, classic.
anywhere
Classic
ranging from
Usher's
2000 to
Confession.
2010. That's you said which one?
Usher's
Okay,
Confessions
there it
album.
is. Okay, because that's what I was thinking when I said I know which one. Because remember, the key word was classic, and that album was like shook the world. Like
Yo,
he went so hard with that album, man. It don't make no sense.
it
Like
was
I had to
crazy.
think on a more because clearly it's a personal classic album, right, to yourself. But because in my mind, I'm thinking like when I wrote the question, I'm like, I know Voodoo, but I'm like, was Voodoo 99 or was it 2000? But then I was like, what else? What else? What else? And immediately I was like, Confessions, clearly Confessions. Like, what was that? 0304? So yeah, R&B.
Yeah.
You got okay, you nailed that one. I thought that was gonna be one that froze you up a little bit. Like, all right, let me think. So okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm looking like, when did Voodoo come out?
Might have
2000.
been 99. I think it was
Oh,
2000. This is why I got
yeah.
Google right here in front of
I
me.
just looked it up on Tidal. It says January 11th, 2000.
Okay.
Mm,
So right at the top of the year, they came with it.
yeah.
All right, so
Oof.
let me see. Okay, you breeze right through that one. All right. Okay, so now this is the one that usually jam people up a little bit. If you were told you had to make a playlist of 6 songs that are absolutely flawless, however, these are songs that you're gonna have to listen to. You can only listen to these 6 songs for the next 6 months.
Mm. Yee.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I do remember that question from the last one, and Sounds of Blackness, Optimistic,
Oh yeah,
number one.
go to.
You know, ooh, Jay Z's feeling it.
Mm,
Jay Z's feeling it. I just really feel like on a calm, breezy day, I need
yeah,
to throw that on. You know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
Um, let's see, LTD's Love Ballad. I love
Mm-hmm.
that song. Kendrick's Cartoons and Cereal.
You ever had gunplay on that joint? Ooh, snap.
Yo, ooh, dope.
Yeah, got four with that.
Uh, Prince. I want to be your lover.
Okay.
Yeah, one of my favorite Prince songs. And the Times, Get It Up.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about the little Minneapolis sound,
What's so dope
and
about well, that might I think you oh no,
was
that was
that six?
five. That was five. We'll get it up.
Um. Oh. I remember. I said Benny the Butcher, 5 to 50.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. Cause that's a whole that throws the shift. You went from Minneapolis and took it all the way to Buffalo, like Buffalo, New York, like, on some grimy hip hop too. Like
Right.
that's crazy. But yeah, the thing about the Prince joint, like I want to be a lover. That I remember the first time like I recognized that there was an extended version of that track. And it was
Hmm.
I had one on CD and it was always just like the dang on mic almost fell. It was always just like the regular version of the song until one day I'm just
Hmm.
in the car and they playing it. This was around matter of fact around the time he passed. So I'm riding
Mm.
around. I'm like, this song ain't went off yet. Like, did the DJ play something that I missed? It just playing. I'm like, oh snap. So I check at the time, he wasn't on spot. I had title at the time. So I go in there, I look
Mm.
at my title, and this is literally a version on there that's like the 12-inch version. They got like the regular joint on there and the extended version. I said, okay. I'm like, man, but I let it play because it's just like that last joint, man. It was like, okay, like all right. It was about like 6, maybe 7 minutes, if that.
Yeah.
Another
Yo, it's
joint, another joint too is It's like Prince, of course, but he had his. I believe he had his. Didn't he have some connection to Charlemagne, the group?
I'm not sure.
I feel like he
Hmm.
did. I had to look that up. I don't throw out false info, but I feel like he did. And maybe it's just because this was during that time in the '80s where everybody that what is it, androgynistic style of fashion. So,
Yeah.
um, and it's like they made. I was just telling my brother this. I was like, "Yo, I didn't know that that was them that made A Night to Remember." And I did
Hmm.
not know that that was them that made For the Lover. And you know, you just hear certain songs. Like, I like that song. You
Yeah.
think like to look up who made. You just know you like the song. This happened to me.
Yeah.
Just listen to it on Apple Music. I'm like, look, that's Charlamagne. Like, man, A Night to Remember. That just
Yeah.
hit.
Yeah.
Cause one day I'm gonna drop my list of 6 flawless songs that I will make a playlist out of, and it's probably making its way up there. I know for a
Hmm.
fact that Ain't Nobody by Rufus and Shaka Khan is on there. Like,
Oh, I
period.
love that song.
It's no rearranging. It's up there, period. And I want to say the live version too, but definitely
Mm.
A Night to Remember by Charlamagne makes that list. I might when I drop mine, I might have to add like an extra 6 or something because it's just
That's not fair, but you know.
I'm a sucker for like 80s R&B. Like 90s was the era
Oh,
that
that's
I
good.
grew up in, and they got the jam, they got the
Hmm.
classics, but something about the 80s, like that era, and I jokingly say, like, what was it about? Like me and a couple of homies, we always joke like, man, I think the popular drug of choice during those era is what had a lot to do with the greatness of some of the songs. I feel like in that era, the 80s, whatever cocaine was around during that time must have been so potent because it's a different vibe, like on this 80s R&B that's like, yo, like it's just
It's definitely the drugs, but I think it's also because a lot of the artists that we kind of look up to from that era were
uh
grown. You know what I'm saying? They were grown.
mm-hmm.
Like Anita Baker was a grown ass woman. Regina
Yeah.
Bell, you know, like Karen White, Stephanie Mills. They were grown.
Sweet Love came out
Um,
in the 80s. But that
mhm.
whole Rapture album, like man.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Luther Vandross. They made songs that people still get married to this day. I
Hmm.
have a homeboy. He's gonna dance to Anita Baker's Angel on his
Yeah,
first dance.
even if we go
You
back
know.
to the Charlamagne joint, like both them songs I mentioned are talking about like love and the fella loving you. They talking about this ring or whatever. So I'm like, I said,
Yeah.
wow, like you don't get that with R&B today. And that's not
Mhm.
like a diss to the R&B today, but it's honestly like I listen to a lot of the R&B now, and that's not all of the R&B male artists or all of the women R&B artists, but it's like on one end with a lot of the newer R&B, it feel like the men don't really like women. And and it's like
And
on the
feel
other
like the
end, it's
women
like
don't really
y'all don't really like the
like the
men. It's
men.
like it's just a it's just
Yeah.
is a lot of heartbreak, or if it ain't heartbreak, it's just like some savage action just is going on both ends. It's
Yeah.
like the vibe is dope. It's like, man, this hit hard. But when you really
Right.
listen to what they be saying, it's like, all right, man, I'm too grown to like really just be feeling like that's
Yeah.
even in high school,
Yeah.
we wasn't on it like that. It was like, come on, man, like, yo, what
Yeah.
happened? Where's the love at? Like,
Yes, I
that's
love that,
missing.
man. Like think about it. Like think about it. And it be songs on the radio right now that still kind of be censored. And this is regular
Hmm.
R&B. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like
the
it.
beats be hitting. The beats are
Yeah.
good. That whole trap soul style that came into play, like once Bryson Tiller hit with "Don't," and then it just
Mhm.
like out of there with that type of sound is dope. I
Yeah.
like that. But when I
I
really
just
listen
can't
to the
listen
lyrics, I'd be
to
like,
niggas.
nah, man, this ain't it. Like, what are y'all
It
talking about?
ain't
Like, yo,
it.
y'all are hurt. Like, really?
Yeah.
Like,
I
wow.
don't want I don't care how pretty somebody's voice is. Like Summer Walker, that girl can sing. She could sing her ass off, but I don't
Hmm.
want to hear about niggas ain't
It's
shit. I
just
don't
the
want
lyrics. It
to
just be
use
like,
your voice for that, you know?
now one joint that I do rock with her heavy is have you heard Grave?
Yo,
Grave is
I
like
love Graves.
Grave is fired. like like
That was a guilty
that
pleasure
joint.
song.
I like this is cool. I can listen. This is but like you say, this is like the main thing. Like, yo, this nigga ain't shit. I'm a savage. Everybody is savage now. Like when did that
Yeah.
I don't blame Rihanna, but it's funny because the other day I'm letting one of my playlists because I got a lot of playlists. There's a gang of them. One of them cook and Needed Me came on. You know, in the
Mm.
hook, she said, didn't I tell you that I was a savage? I said, is this when it happened? Is this when
I think it did.
said that?
Definitely.
After that, everybody just like, I'm savage. No, from men to women. Like everybody's just, oh, this savage is the thing to be, and this is how it's gonna be in these songs. And we don't got love for each other. But hey, look, I be with you though. But it's
Right.
just weird. It's just a weird vibe. But the beats are good though. Beats are
Yeah.
definitely good.
The beats are
Um,
great, but that's what separated, this era from the 80s. And I love 80s R&B. It was very vulnerable, and like I said,
mm-hmm.
it was grown. And from the
Yep.
inside out, the industry was full of really grown people that was just trying to take care of their business. You didn't hear a lot of faulty deals kind of
Mm-hmm.
happening back then.
There was going
Like
on, but it's just like
they
you
were
just
going
ain't really
on,
hear about them.
right,
And maybe because news travels so slow, like the
right,
slowly but surely 2000s era up until now, especially now. Like hell, we just had Kanye drop a whole contract on Twitter, like in a PDF file.
right.
So it's different now. It's just like news just travel a little differently now. But them shady
Mhm.
contracts was out there. They was hell. We saw Cadillac Records. We saw what was going
True.
on even
Very
back then.
true.
I'm trying to think of another. Oh, even with the '90s, like the music was more like it was kind of vulnerable still to an extent.
Yeah, we had Jodeci.
2000s.
And Jodeci wasn't talking about fucking girls. They was on their knees begging. Baby,
It
I'm
was a
begging.
little bit of both with the.
See, my whole thing is they didn't project that in their singles. It
Mm-hmm.
was some savage
It was
shit
on
on
the album.
some Jodeci
It was
records,
on the
on
album.
some albums.
Yeah.
But they still presented it like, they were for the ladies,
Like even with the Soul for Real joint Candy Rain, like you really listen to them lyrics, like dude that was singing the lead singer had to be like what 14. Have you
Yeah.
someone so much you thought you'd die? Like, come on, man, you 14, fam. Like, but still, it was a sense of like vulnerability there that's just different compared to the music now. So
It is. It's
yeah.
perfect. When you think about it, because it's so sweet. It's deep lyricism, but it's still sweet because
Mm-hmm.
of the voice. Michael Jackson, who's loving you? Like, boy,
Yeah.
you
Oh man,
nine
you
talking
ain't going
about.
through that. You don't know. Like who wrote? I don't know if Smokey wrote that one. I forget who wrote that one specifically. But at the time, Smokey Robinson was writing like so many Motown tracks. Him and a team of other people. But
Mhm.
who wrote this? I'm gonna look that up because like what y'all, man, he was
It's
going through
perfect
it. He was
though.
9 years old. Like, ain't nobody who broke your heart? Like what you talking about? But that
Lord.
which brings me to my next question. That's perfect that you said that. You mentioned Michael Jackson, right? So
Mhm.
this is a question that I presented. Swizz Beats or Timbaland approach you about being responsible for playing Michael Jackson's music against Prince in the verses. He
Mhm.
selects you specifically. What are the first 5 songs that you jump out the gate with?
Ooh, for Prince versus Michael Jackson.
You
Jeez.
handling Michael Jackson's music.
Oh, I'm handling Mike's.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, ooh, this
You
a
just gotta
challenge because I'm
assume
a Prince head.
That's see,
Okay.
you gotta assume, Prince is unloaded. I just went random with it too, because at first I was gonna say Prince, but I'm like, that's not easy. But at the same time, it's like Michael Jackson got a catalog where we joke and
It's
say like he
so many
literally
hits.
got hits from when he was brown skin, and he literally got hits from when he bleached his skin. So it's almost like you it's really tough. Like you got to think about you going against Prince, like somebody who played all these instruments, wrote all these songs, wrote for other people, and here we got Michael
Right?
Jackson. It's like it's gonna be a tough five. It seemed like
That's a
it's
tough
easy.
five. But I feel like out the gate, mm, I would do for Mike, and this is five, not in any particular order,
I'm wondering
but
if you're gonna say the one I'm thinking off top.
you are not alone. Um, I would do Bad because
Okay.
it's Mike. That was one of his biggest hits. Um, oh, Mike. Billie Jean.
Okay.
And oh, that's crazy because he got so many hits from so
Mm-hmm.
many eras.
He got
It's
hits
like,
as both
oh,
races. Like
right. Oh, come on now. He was still black. Stop.
I seen that on Twitter. I was like, yo, this is hilarious. It was like because they put him against himself in the verses, and it was like, but it was dope though. Seeing that, like, yo, that's crazy. Like he really once he came out, it was a different, obviously whatever he bleached his skin or whatever as they said he did, but he had hits from Bad on down, and even beforehand up until like we talking about from the 70s, like from his solo career up until like that's crazy. It's ridiculous.
But I got three though. I got
I think you had four.
Let me see. Bad, You Are Not Alone, Billie Jean, and I believe I just said oh no, I think I just had those.
I might have been three then. So Bad, You Are Not Alone, Billie Jean.
Yep. And it's like the music lover in me want to put Jam on there just because I love Jam.
Yeah, I like the video for Jam. Shit, that was my thing.
Jam was like, that was kind of lit when I was a kid. Like, yo, he know Michael Jordan. Yo, he know Heavy D.
Yeah, like, Jam. Here come the man, hot damn. Why do I still remember that? That's crazy.
Oh, Remember the Time, and I would probably bust that as number one, low key. But and
that's four.
Yo, Mike. And I'm just going off of what I'll just be in the mood for Mike, though, even though I should be thinking about just his hits. But I don't want to say Black or White at all. You know what? I'm just gonna say my personal favorite, which is Butterflies.
Oh man, come on. Ooh. Now, okay, you probably gonna lose like these five against Prince, and this is you didn't see that coming. This is why I say that, because this is Prince, and you're a Prince fan. You're a Prince fan, right? And these your five against Prince. Look, this is what I'm rolling with.
Prince to win. You see?
I'm rolling with. Oh, you rigged it. Okay, so I'm rolling with. So, when I thought about this question, I literally start thinking, I was like, I don't want to be biased and pick just my favorites. But if we talk about against Prince, I immediately went to Thriller and went with Baby Be Mine. Ooh. I went with Baby Be Mine of not the hits off Thriller, but I went with, I think Baby Be Mine was number 2 off Thriller. I went with that one off the gate. Butterflies, I got that in there. I cheated and went to the era with the Jacksons, and I put This Place Hotel. That one. I had Billie Jean. That's 4. And Dirty Diana. Yep. Dirty Diana. That was my 5.
Why didn't we both say Smooth Criminal?
Because in my mind, I'm thinking Prince. I'm like, you got somebody who probably gonna go into his 70s bag, 80s bag. So I'm thinking like, yeah, Michael Jackson, bad era. He got some joints, but I'm like, this Prince we talking about. So I just was like, just switch it up a little bit in them first 5. So, yep.
Like realistically, and we're just talking right now, but I really feel like Prince will win.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's how I feel. That's how I feel. I think Prince will have it. But I'm thinking, in my mind, I'm imagining how it would be. You know how the verses are set up. You got the comments coming in. I can see so many Mike fans. Now, granted, I obviously, we both came up on Mike. So, yeah, we rock with them joints too. But at the same time, I got into Prince catalog a little later, and it was like, yo, what's gonna happen if somebody let off she's always in my hair? Like, what can you do with that? What you gonna do with Baby I'm a Star? What you gonna do? It's like Purple Rain alone. It's like he different, man. Like,
if I was your girlfriend, what are we doing?
Come on.
What are we doing? Even his B cuts.
Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Lady Cab Driver.
What are we doing?
What's another one? Lady Cab Driver. 1999 is cool. It's dope, but it's just like that ain't my go-to. That ain't ever really my go-to. I'm going for Diamonds and Pearls.
Diamonds and Pearls is amazing. Man. Such an amazing song.
Yes.
I don't know if it was Martha Wash. I think it was Martha Wash who did the vocals. Like, she killed it. And Martha also did the Gonna Make You Sweat, which she sung her whole throat out on.
Yeah. I'd even throw Get Off in there. Yeah. I'll throw that one in there. I always thought that joint was hard.
That was dope. Yep. Yo, my mom used to play well, she shouldn't have been playing this in front of us, but hey, Prince was that man. She would be playing like Cream
Oh
and
yeah,
like You
yeah, yeah.
Sexy MF and
The
all
way that
that.
song
Like
was
Prince has
structured, though, it just didn't seem like it was that type of song. It was like, cause my
feel
shout out
me?
to my sister-in-law, her tent, she would always like play Prince around us, and like as kids, we just we thinking, oh, this Prince, we mimicking the songs and stuff. But then you get older and you listen, like, no, we weren't supposed to be listening to that at all. Like we
Not
not
at
at all.
all.
But oh, I would even fast forward ahead. We just forgot all about Mike. We was like, what 5 joints for Mike? And it was like, all right, we got that out of the way. But Prince, this nigga.
Oh,
But I would even jump ahead and go off of the Musicology album and go with Call My Name and The Marion
man,
Kind. The
yes.
Marion Kind was a sleeper. That should have been a single, but whatever. They ran with Call My Name, which was cool. And the Musicology single itself, which I didn't like, the title track, but the Call My Name was fire.
It
And
was fire.
later
It was
down in there,
fire.
it was I want to. Am I right about it? Was it the Marion Kind? I don't want to play nothing on here because I know I don't trust YouTube and these platforms. We heard 3 seconds of Prince, snatch it down, but yeah,
Right.
dude, man, he got some joints. If they were
Yeah.
alive and he was able to and they were able to tap into the because I feel like if Michael Jackson were still alive and if Michael Jackson was alive, we probably wouldn't be going through a pandemic. For some reason, I feel like if he or Prince was alive, this wouldn't
Certain
happen.
people just kept
Like
the world
certain
balanced.
people, it's like it just provided balance, and we wouldn't have been going through this. But had that been the case, if they were around and the verses took place, I think I'd see Mike doing it. Like just him.
Oh yeah, he would. Yeah,
I
Mike would
see
have
Prince
definitely
not
did
doing it, like being above that, but I see Mike like going ahead and like, yeah, oh, why not? Just sit him in a room, whatever. It'd be
it.
it'd be like the Gucci and Jeezy battle. They'd both be it'd be a
Yeah,
big
man.
old throne
Hey.
in the middle, and they both on separate
Mhm.
sides, just sitting there being super cool. But yeah, like Prince got some joints though. At the end of the day, another one of the questions that I had for you was the one about this is the one that's a little tricky because immediately people run to a label with this. But
Mhm.
what collective of music artists do you feel has left a lasting impact on the industry and the culture? It could be a record label itself if you want to go with that, but I'm saying like a collective or just one person that spearheaded a collective of artists that this impact that we still see in the industry today and culture.
Mm. I know the last time I said Master P. Um,
Accurate though.
yeah. And I honestly I want to still roll with that. Master P, man, like
That deal that he had structured is like that's a game changer. Yep,
definitely,
super game
definitely. And
changer.
he was I keep saying he was one of the first independent labels to do it like a major, but I really feel like he was the first. Like I really feel like No
Mm-hmm.
Limit was the first independent label that we witnessed really make moves like a major label.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I believe they didn't even like P didn't do the deal with Universal till a little bit later
Yeah, it was
on. And
later. Yeah.
yeah,
They
yeah.
was
So
getting it out the
like
trunk.
he really did
Yeah. Which
it.
also,
Right.
even though Cash Money was doing it too early, it wasn't like P. P's deal
Hmm.
is what was the like, oh, you know what I'm saying? And I forget
Yeah.
the lady's name. Wendy Day. Did she
Yeah.
have something to
Wendy
do with
Day.
she had something to do with
That
P's deal?
not P. Cash
It
Money.
was Birdman. Okay, Birdman and them. Okay, I was trying to figure
Uh,
out which one of them it was that she had a hand in. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah,
yeah.
so man, and I think Twista had another crazy deal too, where it was like
Hmm.
unheard of. So yeah, so that but definitely masterpiece. So I would agree with that as far as that lasting impact.
Hmm.
Any answer that we name from any of those collectives, like from the 90s, no wrong answer. I always roll the
Right.
Dungeon family per se
Mm.
because I look at the styles that happen and like who we get from that because of hell Future. Future
Right.
came out, then we had a bunch of Future babies. But if we look
Right.
back, you could even say Ti is a descendant of the Dungeon family because of who
Hmm.
got him in the game.
Hmm.
Hell, whoever people the mini Andre 3000, not saying lyrically, but just when it comes to that style and that just that left field,
Hmm.
so like, what is these niggas doing? But it
Yeah.
makes sense in the grand scheme of things later on. CeeLo Green, like I always roll with Dungeon Family per se, but No Limit is definitely an accurate answer. Hell, Rockefeller, look at that's still
Hmm.
something, but for how the industry moves as far as just artists with that independent mindset, No Limit is absolutely a solid answer. So that's perfect,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah. Because to
Mhm.
this day, everybody, I'm my own label. I'm my own label. Is so yep.
Right. I feel like P made it cool. He made it cool to,
Mm-hmm.
for people not to just only feel like they can make it off of major deals. Like, no, you
Yeah.
don't have to go and sign your life away. You don't have to go and do
Mm-hmm.
this. You really can do it on your own and in your home turf. I just want to touch on that real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I hate when people be like, don't call me a local rapper and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, but you local. You are. You're
Yeah.
doing this in your city.
That's not a
That's
bad
not
thing.
a dirty word.
It's not a bad
Yeah.
thing. Who made that? Like, how did that come about? Who made that a bad thing? Like,
Oh, I don't know because I feel like look at it this way. Hip hop is one of those, not even one of those. It really is kind of like the only genre to where we legit care about where you
mm-hmm.
come from. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like when I find out people are from places like pop stars, I'm like, oh wow, I didn't know, such and such was
Mm-hmm.
from, Tennessee and all that. But rappers out the gate, you need to know where they from.
Even if
That's
you
just
look
what it
at
is.
Griselda, like who killing the game right now, he was like, they from where? Buffalo. Like, who from Buffalo?
Buffalo,
And you track down
right?
like Rick James was the last person to pop from Buffalo. So that's like an
Right.
amazing thing to see. Like, yo, y'all are killing it right now. So it's almost like even now, like when people, if you say somebody from Detroit, like they from where? Detroit? Oh shit! Like it's because they know,
Right.
like we out here, like we killing. So it's like that is important still. Like people say, like because of the internet, your region, your area is not important. It still is.
It
Sound
still
wise,
is.
maybe not because it's like we hear so much different stuff with music because of the internet now, and it's
Mhm.
like it's so easy to access everything. But it's still important. Like you're gonna want to know,
Right.
come down to it, like where they from, like who,
Yeah,
or
where are you from?
if you gauge it off they sound like they from the South. Where they from? Oh, they from where?
Right.
They from New York. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, but it
Yeah.
still matter. We want to know. So
Yeah,
that
you
make
got to have
perfect
some type of
sense.
source roots. People that just feel like they can pop on the internet, that's fine. But when you start going on these
Mm-hmm.
interviews, let's say you go up to the Breakfast Club because you went viral or something, and
Mm-hmm.
a label signed you, and you're hot, and you're in these interviews, like, oh, where you from? And you're like, oh, I'm from like Marietta, Georgia,
You ain't
and the
gonna say
people
it
in
don't
Marietta is
matter.
like, right, well, it don't matter.
And that
Like,
mean a lot.
no,
And that mean a lot to where you from. Like if you say if you
right,
from somewhere, like you said, Marietta, Georgia, like people Marietta, oh, he from here. Like especially if you big,
right,
blew up. Like oh, he with us. He with us. I don't know if it worked that way
yeah.
with Bow Wow per se, because for a while, like people, assumed he was from Atlanta because he was with Jermaine Dupri, and then it's
Hmm.
like when it was, oh, he from Ohio. He is, huh? Like maybe because he wasn't
Yeah,
claiming it as heavy, but then he started claiming it as like a little bit heavy. So I guess
right.
he does it now. Like I'm from Old Town or whatever. But it's like, nah, man, you from Atlanta. Like we take you from Atlanta
Yeah.
because the
We
way
need
you
to
came out,
force you somewhere.
yeah, we thought you was from there. Usher too. You from Atlanta too. Like we think
Yeah,
we know you moved there, but nah, that's where you from. You over there.
exactly.
So
And it also it could work in the like the negative aspect to where you don't rep and you do kind of blow up on
mm-hmm.
your own and you're like, oh, I'm from Marietta, Georgia, and they're looking like, I
I
ain't
don't
never
fuck
seen
with
you
him.
here.
Yeah, or
Yeah,
he ain't from my
murder,
hood. Like, you know what I'm saying?
repping us. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you don't want that.
It's
You
messed
don't
up because it's
want
unfortunate for certain kids. Like when my parents moved around a lot, in the city, so I really didn't have a certain neighborhood. I don't care, you ain't from my hood. Like, damn, that's kind of messed up,
right.
fam. Like, can I just claim the
No,
city? Like,
I
like
remember a girl on Twitter was like, I ain't never seen Beyonce in the third ward. I'm like, damn, and this
that's
Beyonce.
that's crazy.
She need to stop repping the third. I ain't never seen her in the third. I'm like, well, she Beyonce. Why you can't go see her in the damn
Yeah,
third?
that's crazy. Now, my last question for you would be, what would you contribute to the music business to improve it? Because right now it's the wild wild west. It's like it's all over the place. Granted, it's easy to put out music. We know that you get it to your fans, but what would you do to improve this business?
You know what? This about the only answer I did have saved.
Because it means a lot. So,
Because it means a lot. Because I actually I just pulled that up because I put that in my notes. I want to put that in like my revamp book
okay,
because I want to put out a book about just marketing as an
dope.
independent artist. But what I would change or not change, but what I contribute to improving the music business. It would be to simplify the contract process for artists as well as labels, you
Listen,
know.
I just had some the
So
other day, and I was like, "This, why is this long? Why is it? Why is this contract this long? It doesn't
why
need
is it that
two
long?
pages. Is fine. Like it don't need to be this
Right.
lengthy." Yep.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's full of a lot of like legal terms
Mm-hmm.
that the label don't even know. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
what you have the majority of the time is the artists come with their lawyers and the
Mm-hmm.
label comes with their lawyers, and those lawyers get together and just blah 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 blah. Meanwhile, the artists don't really know what's going on with the contract. The label don't really care because they
Right.
have the contract and they just trust the lawyers. And so when the artist starts to say like, well, I don't like my contract, blah, 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 blah. Our first reaction is, well, you should have read your
Did you read your
contract. Those
contract? Well, I did. It was a lot.
contracts are
It was a
hard
whole
to really figure out, you know? So I would simplify it. Like, and I think I gave you this example before, but I remember like I was witnessing an artist. They signed a label deal, and within the label deal, it was a clause saying that they could not rep their previous um, record label, which
Okay.
was just like a makeshift, you know, independent label of just them and their homies.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But now we're dealing with a legal contract. So if that artist would have, say, went around their homies and started screaming the
Yeah.
previous label name, you're breaching your
The
contract with
contract.
that record label.
Right. So what if
Now, that wasn't in plain English on that contract, though.
yeah, it was some type of legal jargon to where it probably
Legal stuff.
you overlook it or your lawyers probably like you said, the lawyers on behalf of the label don't really know
Exactly.
either. So
Right.
should it be like, and this is me thinking of this at this very moment, with a regular job application, like
Hmm.
should can it look like that in a sense? Like, what's your experience? Like, what was it like,
Yeah.
or something super simple to where you can see, like, oh yeah, I get it, clearly understood.
Yeah.
Like,
You know what? Even when we go and we're like employed, like we're doing our paperwork when we get a new
mm-hmm.
job, that orientation process is them explaining what we're signing page
Yeah,
by page. You know what I'm
they
saying?
should have that with record
Um,
labels
exactly.
or
Page
just
by
deals in
page.
general, whether it be a publishing deal or in this a sync deal, like something like explain it, like all
Yes.
the time. Like when I fortunately when I get certain sync briefs on the table, like the one thing they say in the email is like, hey, if it's something that you need, assistance with, or you just hit me if you got any questions. It's like, all right,
Hmm.
cool. When typically I'm pretty sure in most record deal situations they don't say that. It's like, look, all right, you the person we want. This is the deal.
Yep.
Sign it, whatever. We got you for life. Like, so
Yeah.
yeah.
It's sad that a lot of people have to go through that with contracts. I mean, even with the NBA, and it was interesting to find out that a lot, not even a lot, most of the NBA players that come in, and I think this happened after the Kobe incident,
Mm-hmm.
like the rape incident, they
Oh,
started, yeah, they started training the kids that were coming in, well, not kids, but the uh, basketball players that were getting drafted into the
yeah.
NBA. They were having like courses to kind of like brief them on things that would happen. Like,
Mm-hmm.
say a girl did accuse you of rape. This is how we would handle this. This is the protocol. Say if
Okay.
somebody, if you did have to take a drug test and you failed it, this is the protocol. If you get $1 million, do not spend it all in one day. This is the protocol. Um, so if they're doing that for the basketball players, so they don't get all all this
Then
trouble
why can't
or
they do it for music? That's
thank you,
crazy.
because everybody is just kind of on their own once
All
they
that
be in the
money
music.
that the artists make y'all, and y'all just kind of out there put them out there to the wolves.
Exactly.
That's
But think
crazy.
about the NBA. They're trying to retain as many players as they can so they can have
Mm-hmm.
a lengthy career. They don't care about, I'm not going to say the music industry doesn't care about artists, but it's a here today, gone
But
tomorrow
at
type
the
of
same time, longevity is something that's not held in high regard in the music industry. It's all, oh, it's a young man's game.
Exactly.
When really we see so many
Right.
people with long lasting careers, you know what I'm saying? So it's like that's
Exactly.
something that they need to make important. Like we have the assumption that
Right.
you come in here to have a lasting career, and just use that as an example.
Exactly.
Like you said, the NBA contract, don't spend this all here in one day. Like there's protocol for this, there's protocol for that. It should be that way, but
Mhm.
I just thought about it. I think that's what it is. The music industry doesn't look at longevity as something that music artists have in mind. Like, and most of the time music artists
Mhm.
don't, man, I'm just here for the bread, or, I'm here to just get a couple hits and
Yeah,
I'm out. When really, if that was put in front of
yeah,
them, it's like, look, we care about your career. We want this, we want this to last for you. And this is what we could do to make that happen. So instead of just them
exactly.
draining these artists and, just getting them for all of the money that they got pretty much. That
Mhm.
that's actually pretty interesting. That's something you should try to flesh that out and make it go forward.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna try. I feel like, if the NBA can put that together, right? I feel
Mm-hmm.
like the money, the budgets is no different than the NBA in the
Yeah.
music industry. I know labels can put aside a week for their artists to just learn as much as they can about the business.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of them just kind of letting them come in and get the bag and go crazy,
Exactly.
and then you a has been next year.
You looking up somebody in
Not
jail,
cool,
somebody, you know what I'm saying? Like catching
right?
cases, like it's crazy. It really should be stuff put in place like from the jump. Now, I don't know, they could be like that with some labels. We don't know. But for the
Hmm.
most part, just based off what we see that takes place in media all the time, and you hear artists having these complaints, it's like in most cases it's probably not. So
Hmm.
yeah, that's a solid idea. That's the perfect way to actually close this too. So, you know,
Hey.
so where can people find you at on social media?
Yep, I'm most active on Twitter at Tia underscore the underscore writer. Also on Instagram. I bees on Facebook, but not
I
really.
dabble on there
Yeah,
for the most
you know,
part. Got a
yeah.
personal profile and whatnot, but I dabble. We understand like the which each social media platform is for. Like
Mhm.
Facebook is usually like maybe family and your coworkers.
Yep.
Twitter is more so like free think. I'm here to just let off some thoughts real quick and be out of there. Instagram is
Yeah.
is, is the flex platform a little bit.
Right. Yeah.
But
Nah,
yeah.
please hit me on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm more
And no
Twitter friendly, and then I like Instagram. It's just like I don't know. I'm not the selfie guy. I'm not the really. I'm active in my stories for those of y'all that follow me and see. I post music in the stories and stuff, and just what I'm into at that moment. But other than that, Twitter is for me. So I feel you
yeah.
on that. Any direct
Mhm.
website or YouTube, SoundCloud, anything?
Well, my bread and butter comes from me writing bios and press releases and mission statements for businesses. So if you'd like to check me out there, it's a tiathewriter.com. That's my website. Also, I'm building my YouTube channel at Tia the Writer.
Okay,
So, subscribe, like, share,
I
subscribe to that.
did.
I'm a
I
YouTuber
did. When
now.
you
And
dropped the audio
yeah,
article,
thank
I definitely I was
you.
like, okay, I'm about to this. I see what's coming from this. So I'm about to follow
Thank
this real quick.
you. I swear I'm gonna get in front of the camera one of these days, man.
Go
Like,
ahead. Go
yes.
ahead.
But yeah, so that's it, man. Thank you again, like, for doing this. Seriously, like,
Open
this is
invitation.
dope.
Open invitation. Yep. Definitely an open
Mhm.
invitation. So yeah, that's on my mind. Just the whole thing with the contracts and stuff. I'm like, damn, that's okay. Like, yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure. Shout out to SJ from the Connected Experience, SJ and AJ from the Connected Experience. I'm pretty sure they gonna listen to this. Be like, yo, that is a dope idea. Like, she should holler at us or whatever. So yeah, that's solid idea. But again, I appreciate you. We got it. We got it done this time. The first time
Got
the audio was
it.
crazy. I said, no, I'm about to use my regular mic. I'm about to run it off my laptop. We about to get this done right. So I appreciate you for coming on. Y'all know the website, nametagalexander.com, leadingbylegendary.net. Stop playing, check out the music, get some merch, and we back at it. It's been another episode of A Name Tag is Necessary. Peace. And that's it.
That's
Appreciate it.
dope.
I'm gonna try